Today I'm really pleased that we've been joined by one of our electricians, Chris from Benchmark, who is, I understand, a time-served electrician.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And he's going to talk us through what happens with an EICR. So, an average house, 3-bed, let's say, how many circuits are there in that sort of house?
Around about 8, I would suggest.
8. And how many tests do you actually have to do per circuit?
Per circuit, we'd carry out a minimum of 3.
Blimey, so you're doing a minimum of 24 tests then?
Potentially, yes.
Would you do any more?
Yes, there's an RCD test as well, and depending on how many RCDs there are.
And an RCD? Sorry.
It's a residual circuit device, so it's very much a safety feature, which has been in for a number of years in the regulations. Well, it's very much like an MOT.
Right, okay.
So yeah, we look for anything that is very unsafe, close to being unsafe, and or something that needs just generally upgrading.
Is that this C1, C2, C3?
Yes.
Right.
And then there's also further investigation, which if you can't always pinpoint something, it's kind of something that you need to look at and take it further.
Is C1 good or C1 bad?
No, C1 is something that will give you an unsatisfactory certificate.
So what, on an MOT side, is that ball tyres then?
Yeah, let's say ball tyres.
Got it.
Yeah. And I guess a C2 you could say very low pads or wearing pads. Mm-hmm. And a C3 you could probably say it's you've got 6 months motoring left on your tyres before you're going to be in the C2 bracket.
Okay.
Now it's for every 5 years for a rental. Outside of a rental for a domestic, it should be every 10 years.
Okay, so we can electrocute ourselves if we live in our own house.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the first thing we would do is just to have a general walk around before we start testing, just to make sure it's kind of safe to work on the property. First, the majority of the work, 90% of the time, we're in the fuse board, so we have to work in there and fully isolate.
And you've got a lovely fuse board to work on here because it's right in the corner.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we can certainly look at that and talk through some of the procedures.
Okay, shall we go to the fuse board then?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. First off, safety features. We need to isolate the power, then it's safe for me to open up the consumer unit. Okay, so now the power's isolated and we have the lid off and consumer unit open. Before we even start any testing, we can see that there are a few issues, that there's a very large space and a gap underneath here, but more importantly there's a very large gap up the top, which is not good. That would be something we'd put onto the condition report. There is no indication that this is the main earth terminal. A very small label, but still it's missing, and we need to say that it's not there. So that would be just a C3.
So you haven't even started testing yet?
No. These are just little things that we need to highlight before we start testing to make sure that we're kind of safe to continue. So our randomly selected circuit that we're going to carry out at this R1, R2 test is the shower. So I've linked out downstairs the live and the earth for this circuit, so we should get a continuous path when I take this reading here from the earth, or the CPC, going back to the consumer unit, down to the earth, down to the live at this point. So yeah, we have a reading of 0.19 ohms, which is fine. That's exactly what we'd expect to find.
Perfect. So that circuit, tick.
For now, yeah, we now need to carry out 2 more tests to verify, but things are looking good for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so the next test in the process is an insulation resistance test. So I've now fully isolated the live neutral and the circuit protective conductor from that shower, and we're going to test to make sure that there is no link between. So we get a good reading there. That's neutral to earth, and then we do the same again. Live to earth, not a good reading. And then live to neutral, another good reading. Now, just to note, this is with the appliance turned off. If we were to turn the shower on, we would get a reading between these two, which you'd expect to find because there's an element. So we don't always want to blast certain things, but just in case we cause damage, but we do test maybe at a lower voltage. That's the second one.
And what's the third one?
The third one is the live one. We've basically verified that we're now safe to, what we would say, energise the circuit.
Right.
So we'll now connect these back in, go back upstairs, and then we'll take a live reading.
Okay, back upstairs then. So here we are again for the third test.
Yes, this is the live test, which is the ZS, taking into account that we've now energised the circuit, and we should be getting a resistance, which is the earth loop. So we just, similar to what we've already done, but bearing in mind this is now a live circuit, and we go down to live, to earth, and this takes a little time just so it doesn't want to trip out the RCD. There we go. So we verified that we have a good circuit, 24.2 ohms, as it's on a TT earth rod. And that's it. That's that one done. Final test is to verify that the RCD, if there's one in place, is working correctly. And that's to verify the times that it's tripping out. So luckily this property only has one, so therefore we only have to do that once. Some properties would have 2 or maybe 1 per circuit. So we quite simply test that it trips out when we want it to.
And it is?
That's once.
Excellent.
Twice. And this will go the 4th time.
And that's you not just switching it on or off?
That's this device is doing the tripping, that's me resetting.
Right.
So then we can go through and verify.
So as well as all these tests you do, Chris, you get actually tested every year as well, don't you? You have someone come along with you for the day.
That's right, yes. Yeah, as part of my subscription to the NIC EIC, every year we have one of their assessors come out and assess my work, which kind of entails normally several hours in the office, or whatever your office is, going through all the paperwork. So we've got all our health and safety in place, we have a complaints procedure in place, we have all the new documentation, legislation, new regs books, Part P registration, everything is checked. The test calibration certificates, so we have that done every year. Just everything you can think of really. And then we go out to a job that we've previously tested, so we'll take the report with us and then we'll go through and verify what I've put down on the certificate, go through and show the tests again, and we'll do that on maybe 2 or 3 jobs. Okay, so I've gone through all 8 circuits from the consumer unit and pretty much proving what we showed on the shower circuit. So yeah, I've gone around, I've taken dead tests on every single circuit, from the sockets to the lights, verifying that we have an earth in place, verifying that there isn't a high reading. Things are tripping out when they should do, and at every possible location I've taken some sampling, so we actually remove the sockets and the lights. So generally speaking we'll do that at 25 to 50%, not absolutely every single accessory. So yes, I've been around and I'm pretty confident that I've covered all bases and I can produce a certificate.
That's it, you've got your paperwork next?
Yes, that's it.
Well,
so I'll maybe get that done this evening and then I'll be sending it over.
And then you'll send it to us to
yes.
get moving on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, really
appreciate
it. It really has been interesting because I just say to people, oh, you need an EICR or whatever because that's the legislation. I actually understand now what it's all about.
Yes.
And it just makes it so much easier.
Oh,
so
I'm glad.
Thank you.
All right, no trouble.
If we manage your property and you would like to book an EICR, just give us a call on 01480 494967.